Hello, true duelists. My name's Craig Fee, and welcome to the New Card Report, the video I make when there's new cards. Wow. Another day, another set of cards revealed from Age of Overlord, the new upcoming set in the OCG, with this set somewhat unexpectedly giving us support for not only Ogdoadic, but even Watt. Yeah, who had Watt support on their 2023 bingo card? I didn't. The only thing I had on my bingo card was a gun. Let's start first with Nephribus, the Ogdoadic Overlord. A new level 10 Dark Reptile with 2200 attack and 3100 defense. It has two effects, both with the tried and true hard once per turn. The first effect activates if it's in the graveyard and a monster is sent from either player's hand or deck to the grave, allowing it to summon itself from the graveyard, but doing so will lock you into only summoning reptile-type monsters until the end of the next turn. Your reward for this comes in the form of a second effect, which is that if this card has been summoned from the graveyard, it can target any monster in the graveyard except for a copy of itself and special summon it out. Now, the first translation I'd seen actually said that it happened when it was summoned, it being reviving a monster, as in if this card summoned itself during the opponent's turn, the effect would trigger and summon another monster still on the opponent's turn. The most recent translation I've seen does not do that. It's just if it's on your field, you can like chain link one, activate the effect to do it, and then on the opponent's turn, it's just a plug. So it's not bad still, that's a solid effect. It can revive any monster in your graveyard. The catch is, if you've revived it with its first effect, you're locked into only reptiles. Now, the Augie boys, as I'm going to call them, aren't new to a reptile lock, but Nunu only applies the reptile lock while it's face up on the field, and in regards to the reptilian link, it's only after they've used it, so they can kind of work around it, and either way, it's not until the end of the next turn. So even if you summon this on your opponent's turn with its first effect, during your entire next turn, you're still under a reptile lock. That's kind of yucky. Reptiles aren't exactly lacking combo plays, it's more so end boards, and this does the exact opposite of helping them with an end board if you're summoning with the first effect. So you're fuckleberged unless you get it out with like a Monster Reborn-esque effect, in which case it's very solid. Now, in a deck whose boss monster is all I want to be playing because it wants to be revived from the graveyard, this does complement it. This does complement the light level 10 with the mirrored stats, but unfortunately, that only would have been even remotely viable if this second effect was a quick effect, and it's not. So unfortunately for me, I can't play the big Ogdoadic if I'm playing this like as competitively as I want to, but it would have been real cool if I could, you know? A man can dream. And speaking of dreaming, here's a bit of a dream card for the deck. Is that a good segue? Fucking hope so. Ogdoadic Dawn of Creation is a new quick play spell that has two effects and two once per turns. Funny how that works. On activation, you can tribute a reptile monster, and for every 2 levels the tributed monster had, you can summon an Ogdoadic token, which are all level 2 dark reptiles with 0 attack and defense. It can also be banished from your graveyard during your main phase to target one of your banished reptiles and shuffle it into the deck and then send another reptile from your deck to the grave. Now that's certainly something. Ogdoadics have 4s, 6s, 8s, and now 2 10s, with one of them really being worth playing, actually, the new one. So if you're looking at it, you've got 2 to 5 tokens depending on exactly what it is you're tributed. If nothing else, it can turn a weak normal summon into a Link 2, such as the Reptilian Link or even the Alien Link 2. And if you get more tokens, you can just get more options from there. And since there's no lock on this card, the world's your oyster with what you do with those tokens. That's not bad. That's a hell of a lot of snake options. Plus, the bonus effect is a great way to recover banished Snecks, all while setting up your graveyard. It literally is just a very great second effect on the first effect as well. Like, it's a good second effect and a solid first effect. It's like, holy shit, they actually tried to make a good Ogdoadic card. That's insane. You know what else is insane? The fact that we're getting fucking Watt cards. What could they possibly be? And how many times are we going to hear that joke? Let's find out and take a look and show the new cards and talk about them and then put them on screen and then go to bed. TUNA is the greatest name and idea for a new Wat tuner, and immediately solidifies itself as one of the greatest pieces of legacy support of all time. This is a level 4 Light Thunder with 800 attack, and that's all that matters, because this card can summon itself from your hand if a monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent and can of course attack directly. What a shock. But the real cool thing is that if this attacks directly, you contribute this and one or more non-tuners from your hand or field to summon a Wat Synchro monster from your extra deck whose level equals the combined levels of the tributed monsters. Now, as I understand it, this can summon itself with its own effect even if it's been searched off of a Wat Cobra that just attacked, because this activates at the end of the damage step, and the effect to search off of Cobra goes through in like the effect resolution stage of the damage step, which is like step 6 of the 7 steps of the damage step. It's been a joke for a while in my friend group that you need a law degree to play this game, and the more I've played it, the more I agree with that statement. Still, that's a pretty crazy cool way that makes a normal summon of Wat Cobra all the more strong. What a king representation of synergy. As for jokes, it's a tuna. I can't top that, so I'm not even gonna fucking try. Peak card design onto the new Synchro. Because yes, there is a new Synchro level 8 that pairs beautifully with Cobra's searching Tuna. And it's safe to say, Michael. What's Aurus? Waterus? This has 1600 attack and needs any Wat tuner and one or more non-tuner thunder monsters to summon. And what a twist, it can also attack directly, just like every other fucking monster in the deck. No, I don't know what Wat Hopper is. What are you talking about? This card inflicts battle damage to the opponent by direct attack. It has an effect that can shuffle a Wat tuner from your grave and a face-up non-tuner thunder monster you control to the deck to summon out a Wat thunder monster from your extra deck, except for another copy of Wat Aurus. What an effect. It's worth noting that there's no mentioning about level requirements, so you don't need to match the levels of whatever it is you're tributing off for you to get the summon. You could shuffle a level 4 tuner and a level 12 non-tuner and get out either of the 2 Wat Synchros. I just said tribute instead of shot. You get it. We're cool. So what do the other 2 Wat Synchros do? Well, one is quite literally gold sarc if it inflicts battle damage. Like just bar for bar. It's just fucking gold sarc. Why? And why is it on the cooler looking card? Actually pissed. But the other one does have a solid effect to place a random card from the opponent's hand onto their deck if it attacks directly. So, if you can attack once with Wat Cobra, you can search Tuna, summon it, attack with Tuna, use Tuna and Cobra to make Wat Aurus, use its effect to make a Wat Chimera, and then stack a hand onto deck type card situation. Now that's only about 4,800 damage you're dealing and a long sip of water for a short walk. Fuck that saying up. But hey, is it broken? Nope. But is it cute? Have you seen the Tuna? Look, you aren't fixing Watts. I'm sorry. You're not like recovering that into the stint of playability, but you can make it a little bit better. And that's what these do. But you know what? Go ahead and change my name to Billy Mays, because wait, there's more. Wat Kingdom is a new continuous spell that makes it so the opponent can't activate the effects of monsters that activate on normal or special summon that are in the same column as either this card or one of your Wat monsters. It can also, once per turn, target a Wat monster you control, then summon a Wat monster from your deck with a different name, but you'll take damage equal to the summoned monster's attack, and doing so will lock you into only special summoning Thunder-type monsters for the turn. Now, clearly, this card's first effect was designed around my voice cracking in that last bit of that sentence, and also making Wat Kinetic Puppeteer into a viable hand trap in Wat decks, because that card moves monsters into adjacent zones, and you can move your own to negate a non-summon effect, which is Wow. Wow. That's the only reason that the weird floodgate effect is on this, and you can't change my mind on that, I've decided. But at least the second effect is a pretty solid one for the deck. Solid. It's a solid one. Summoning Cobra and using this to special summon Giraffe, or vice versa, can pretty well protect some of your plays. I mean, it's interruptible beforehand, Ash Blossom does exist, but if they can't Ash you to stop the summon of Cobra or Giraffe, the two of them attacking will make it so they can't do anything else to you for the rest of the turn, plus you'll get your tried and true combo I mentioned earlier to rip a card from their hand. Plus with the extra Giraffe attack, I believe you get up to like 6,000 damage. You're just like 6 level 4s on board to overlay into 3 Cowboys from game away at that point, and that's definitely a reasonable thing to say at any point in time in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! All in all, it seems like some solid support for Wat. Now that's not what you expected, is it? Again, you're not breaking the deck here, but 3 very good cards for a pretty old deck. And again, I'm still just pissed that Wat Chimera is the lame one of this deck. It's a goofy and dopey looking card. That's a goofy and dope looking card, and they made its effect goofy and not dope. Just fucking gold sarc. Bruh. And so that's it. So it's time to shout out today's sponsor, the LIFD Magnetic Display. The true Duelist approved way to showcase your favorite cards and the best way to support my channel currently. Place them on a desk, hang them on your wall, put them on your ceiling. Look at it at the mall. It rhymed, now you have to. Either way, whatever card you're showing and however you choose to display it, you can save yourself 15% off one of these lovely little displays by using my promo code or by clicking the link in the description. Thank you, as always, to LIFD for the continued support, and thank you for watching. And so that'll wrap it up for this new card report. Just covering some of the new cards in this. The regular update will be out on Friday as usual. And until then, I've been your host, Craig Fee. Make sure you subscribe to Yugioh Strats for this week's update to impress your smoking Italian wife, and so you too can be a true duelist. Clearly,